Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk. Welcome back to another Shep Talk movie review. Before we get onto the movie review though, let's do a couple of admin things here, guys. If you do like what you see here, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It does help my channel out greatly, and I do truly appreciate each and every one of you that helps me out. Now, let's get onto my review of The Dukes of Hazzard. The Dukes of Hazzard is directed by Jay Chandrasekhar. If you don't know what he's directed or been in before, you obviously haven't been watching my previous videos, so go back and watch them because I've been talking about Jay Chandrasekhar for the last 4 of these older videos or older movies. Now, The Dukes of Hazzard stars Sean William Scott, who's probably mostly known for his American Pie roles. We also have Johnny Knoxville, again, mostly known for his roles on Jackass. Jessica Simpson is also in this movie. At that time, I'm trying to remember, I do believe she was mostly known for her singing career. I don't remember if she had started her reality TV show with her husband before this movie or after it, but yeah, so she was a singer in a reality TV show, if you guys don't know who Jessica Simpson is. We also have Willie Nelson, and God forbid if you guys don't know who Willie Nelson is. I'm not a big country fan, but even I know who Willie Nelson is, you know. And then we have, again, the late great Burt Reynolds, who's been in so much stuff. Cannonball Run, The Longest Yard, so many great movies. If you haven't watched a Burt Reynolds movie, do yourself a favor, go and watch a couple of them. Cannonball Run and The Longest Yard, to name a few, would be a great choice. And then, of course, because we're continuing our Broken Lizard kind of filmology, this does have cameos from the Broken Lizard group, so Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan, Eric Stolhansky, Paul Soder, and of course Jay Chandrasekhar all have cameos throughout this movie. The main reason that the Dukes of Hazzard is in this review right now is because it does fall under the Broken Lizard umbrella. It is directed by Jay Chandrasekhar. It does have cameos from the Broken Lizard guys. And at this date, so this is the 4th movie from Broken Lizard that we've had, and it is their biggest Hollywood budgeted movie at $50 million. So this is the biggest budget they've ever had, and from the past and even going forward, this is their big Hollywood movie. Whew, okay, man, where to begin with this movie? When this movie came out, it was, I'm not going to say highly controversial, but it was a controversial movie. The original cast of the Dukes of Hazzard from the TV show did not want to do a cameo. They were offered cameo roles in there, but after reading the script, they thought it was too crude and crass and kind of got away from the family-friendly attitude that their TV show brought to the airwaves back when it came on. And some people even say that this movie was kind of tied and had their hands tied behind their backs because it was given a PG-13 rating, and some people believe that if you'd given it an R rating, they could have done more and actually been, I guess, had a better story to tell with the R rating by handicapping them with a PG-13. One of the things I will agree on is Luke and Bo Duke didn't really feel like the Luke and Bo Duke from the TV show. I get it when you go from a TV platform to a movie platform, even from a book to a movie, you want to change things up so that way it's not completely 100% like it is in the previous media that it was in. I don't always agree with that. I think sometimes studios and writers try to change things up just to change things up, and it doesn't need to happen. One of the things I did like about Bo is I like that they kind of changed him up to be like focused on being a race car driver. But what I didn't really like is the unnatural, unhealthy relationship that he kind of had with his car, and make him kind of a country bumpkin where, he couldn't talk to girls and he passed out and, all that stuff. To me, it just felt too corny, too idiotic. I wish they could have focused on being that professional race car driver. Would have been a great storyline to have, especially with with what was happening in Hazzard County at that time. But yeah, just leave out him pretty much having a love affair with his car. And then Luke Duke, oh man, I feel like part of Johnny Knoxville came out into this character because it just seemed like an overly sexualized character that all he was focused on really was getting laid, and hooking up with every pretty girl that he saw. And you could have done that. It could have been toned down a little bit. It just felt too much. It just felt like that's all he had, that he was thinking was dick, and that was it. There was nothing else to his character whatsoever. Overall, for the Dukes of Hazzard, the plot is good. It has some substance in there. It is like a true Dukes of Hazzard TV show. Boss Hogg is trying to pass, I don't know, bill or whatever, but an ordinance that allows him to do stuff to Hazzard County and without anybody really knowing, and the Duke boys get wind of it and they're trying to stop Boss Hogg. It is the plot and the substance is there. I think the writers pretty much went a little too far afield of that. They wanted, they wanted these over the top, stereotypical country bumpkins and not give any kind of substance to the characters in here. And I think if they would have stopped, pulled back, and done that, then some of the jokes that they tell in this movie would have worked better, and the characters would have been more approachable, more acceptable to the audience. And boy, do I like going back to watching old movies and seeing an actor that I'd fallen in love with in something else and realize that they're in this movie. And James Roday is in this. He plays the opponent to Bo Duke in the race car driver, and I really liked him I've really started following him in the TV show Psych. I thought he's really good, and that's where I started following his career. And I'm even watching A Million Little Things because he's in it. But it's great to be able to go back into these movies and just see actors that you were following later on, that you were actually seeing them even earlier than that. And it's great to see Linda Carter again in a Broken Lizard production. Obviously, she was the governor in Super Troopers, and even her and Kevin Heffernan did Sky High, which is a great movie as well. If you haven't seen Sky High, I'll probably be doing a review of that sometime down the road. So it's great to see that she has some continuity within the Broken Lizard universe, I guess you can say. And how could you not love Willie Nelson as Uncle Jesse? I mean, I could probably sit here and just listen to his one-line jokes all day. I want to know how he was on set. I'm sure he was busting everybody up with his jokes. He was probably also getting everybody high with his smoking. Hey, Broken Lizard guys, when are we going to get Weed Fest, huh? Because we've been waiting for that movie for a long time. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have, Burt Reynolds playing Boss Hogg. And I think he does a good job with this. Was it his best performance ever? No. I think he took the role that he was given, and he gave us a good performance with Boss Hogg. Again, I think I'm going to blame the writers and the studios here. I think we don't get a lot of character development. We don't get a lot of plot with them. Boss Hogg is pretty much just your typical villain. He's trying to do his own thing, and the Duke boys got to stop him. So it doesn't really give Burt Reynolds his really good moments to shine in this movie. He does really good in this movie. I think sometimes he even steals the scenes from a lot of the people he's acting with in this movie. But, yeah. Again, if you haven't seen a Burt Reynolds movie, please go out there, look up his filmology, and grab one of his movies. Okay, final thoughts on this movie. Overall, I think this movie is decent. I think there's a lot of potential that was left on the writing table or the cutting room floor. I think Broken Lizard had their hands tied behind their back, and I think the studio interfered. I think they didn't get a chance to write their own movie. So, as I said before, this was their first big Hollywood movie with a budget of $50 million. And spoiler alert, They haven't had a $50 million budget since this movie. I think if J.H. Henderson and the Broken Lizard group had written this movie and done their own thing in this movie and given their way, I think it could have probably been better. We know what to expect from Broken Lizard. I think they had the potential to make this a true Dukes of Hazzard movie with their own spin on it, with their own comedy, but we didn't get that. And this movie was controversial. People didn't like it. Like I said, even I think it's good. I think it's a decent, entertaining movie. It has a lot of issues going on with it. But with that being said, guys, I think Shep Talk is going to give it 3 out of 5 Sheps. I find it entertaining. I enjoyed some of the plot. Overall, it just didn't work for me. With that being said, guys, have you seen the Dukes of Hazzard movie? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you did like what you see here, please remember to hit that subscription button. It helps my channel out greatly, and we're close to 300 subscribers, guys. We're like 46 away, I think, from it. So I'm trying to get to 300 subscribers. And if you did like this review, please check out some of these other ones over here. I'm sure you will also enjoy them. But that's all I got for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.